Today's topic is rare girls who are good reactors, expressional reactors. And this is a rare type of girl that I don't encounter much. Like when you see on YouTube, you see like reactor kind of content. Like there are people who say, I'm a reactor, which sounds like some sort of nuclear thing, but no. They want to react to films, like they want to. I don't know how they fucking get around copyright nonsense. They just occasionally glitch the film and stuff, and I don't know in which places they do it, because if I did that, I'm sure I'd get copyright strikes, so they must have some method of doing it. Anyway, these people like watch movies and they show the abridged movies on YouTube, and they're like often streamers, and they're showing their face in the corner of the screen in a webcam reacting to the footage they're seeing. Most of this kind of content I think is just tosh. It's just kind of rubbish, because you're there to try and get something out of it that you haven't seen before. You're probably going to be watching a person respond to a film that you've seen before, unless you're looking to get parts of it spoiled and not see the film. Like I tend to, if I know a film's going to be pretty bad, but I'm weirdly curious about it, I watch a film review of that movie, like Red Letter Media, rather than watch the actual movie. So there are people who might watch that content for that, but I think I would watch that content to see people's reaction to stuff. Like, for instance, there's a million of these reactor videos focused on the film Alien, and I often like click on to go, okay, what's this person? What's their reaction going to be to the dinner table scene where the chest bursts? Like apparently, because a lot of these reactors, I mean, they call themselves that because it's like a first time watch for them. It's their first time seeing the film. They've never seen it before. Because why would you film your reaction to something that you've seen before? That would be more like that would become a review at that point. You know, there's previews, there's these reactions, which I guess live responses, or you're sitting next to a friend in the cinema, and then there's reviews, which is after the fact of seeing it, looking back on it, saying what it's like. I think that's like 3 categories of film review type thing. You could say the same for games, you know, there's playing the game live, or there's like reviewing the game after, or there's previewing the game before it comes out, sort of thing. But yeah, there are a lot of these, as I say, a lot of these reaction videos are just terrible, because you click on them and then you're watching a person supposedly reacting to a film. They got something, you go watch new content, you want to see some kind of expression, you want to see some material, you want some response, you want them to reply to what they're seeing, you want them to tell you about what they're seeing or have an interesting take, and 90% of the time you're not getting that. You might just get, you click on a screen, you get like a woman watching Alien, and they're just like, ooh, oh, what did she say? Oh, I thought that was gonna happen. Oh, is that him? This like pointless nonsense stuff. Whereas with other reactors, you occasionally get lucky and happen upon one of these people who actually seems to have a genuine reaction to what they're watching, which is kind of nebulous. I know, I'm not really explaining it very well, but they're more expressional. They usually have something interesting or funny to say after something's happened, or they're actually like, they've got a unique take on what they're seeing. They've got some kind of unique response that you weren't really expecting. So for that instance of what I'm describing, which is expressional reactive girls who are rare, I would cite Biscuit, who is a Romanian girl, and she's got, I think Bisflix is actually her film react channel. Her Biscuit thing is music reactions, which some of them are okay, but you know, you never know what version you're going to get. She might watch a tune I like and it'll be a live version that's not very good compared to the actual release tune. But yeah, she tends to have, this isn't the same with all Romanians, but she like rolls her R's a lot in her translation over to English. Like she's learnt English and she's speaking English, but it's like got the Romanian accent attached to it. But it's a very specific kind of Romanian accent where it's like, it's got that kind of rolling the R's. Anytime there's an R, it's like, I really, really want to watch this. It's, yeah. Whereas most other Romanians tend to talk like cats, I think. Like they got this meowing voice that rises up at the end of the sentence. And they have this sarcastic, questioning sound in their voice. It was funny when I watched V interviewing Freedom Alternative, because they're kind of yapping to each other in this cattish way where they go, no, not really. Oh yes, but you could say that. Oh yeah, and it's kind of this meow thing comes out of their voice, which I find hilarious. And that, I think Maddie had that as well. Kind of this thing in the back of their voice that is, I don't think they realise they're doing it maybe, but it sounds hilarious when it translates over to English. Yeah, so she has really cute, I don't know, it's also to do with facial expressions. I really like girls who have amazing facial expressions. You know, they're not just like deadpan or flat or snarky. They've got this range, like their eyebrows go up, their eyes widen, their voice can go up and down the levels and rise and go up and down, and, you know, make lots of, I call it like sonorous, you know, when you get that quality of voice that's really strong, but it can go up to every level of note, I guess, or pitch. And she's got that kind of thing going on. And yeah, I don't want to say it's like over emotionality, although she does get emotional films. I think it's like expressionality. Anyway, that's just one example, is Biscuit. And then we could dip into another one, which is I liked The Queen's Nose when I was younger, and I had a huge crush, maybe one of my first real crushes on like a celebrity girl sort of thing, was Harmony Parker was the character in The Queen's Nose, which is a kids' TV show. And she was older than me by 3 years at the time I was watching. So she's just generally older than me by 3 years. She hasn't aged so well when you see photos of her now, but at the time she was cute as fuck because of her expressions and the way she used her voice had that sonorous quality, and it was combined with her expressive face. She had like just think of a very animated face, like 1,000,001 things you can do with your face to get your point across. It's like, I mean, it's not something I have personally. I was able to do things like that in the past, but now, like, I don't know how expressional my face comes across. Probably in day-to-day life, not expressional at all, because I have that apathetic thing going on. But a few of my vlogs may be more expressional than others, particularly my past ones when things were going a little better. Yeah, so yeah, the actress was Victoria Shallett, who played Harmony Parker. Like, she's a ginger, and she had just like crazy things she could do with her face. Like, and then there's other stuff that crosses over into. I like hiking channels, and one of them that I watch is, I think I'm going to pronounce it Wild Bear, but it's got an E on the end, so I always pronounce it Wild Beer. So it's Wild Beare, Claire. I think it's because her name is Claire Beer or Claire Bear. Claire Bear sounds like Care Bear, so I keep thinking her name is like Beer. So Wild Beer sounds, I don't know. It's confusing. I think it's maybe Wild Bear. And she's very performative in her videos, I guess, and I think she knows she's expressive and cute, and so she knows how to use that and like reflect that back at people. I guess when you're unconscious of it, it's one thing, and people can get away with being incredibly expressional and chirpy like this with the sonorous voice unconsciously, and they can also get away with it consciously, where they're kind of slightly playing up to it and acting. So a lot of her stuff is quite performative and acty, I suppose, which I don't normally like, but in her case, I think it's just that she knows from people around her telling her that she has these talents, what her talents are, and then she plays that up a bit. She knows if she talks in a certain way, it will sound cute, and she'll get a cute response from people, so she plays up to that. And so, yeah, she's a camping girl. She goes up hiking and camping and filming on I think it's in Wales, yeah, the Rhinog Mountains in Wales. And she's got very American Indian looks-ish. she has a sort of long face, I guess, and cheekbone structure that I associate with like Pocahontas look. I'd say, even though she's blonde, Lauren Southern sort of has a little bit of that too, but Wild Bear has more of that. And she's got brown eyes and a great smile, and she knows how to use her features and be super expressional. She's especially good with her voice, which is this squeaky, silky voice. She's like, hello, kind of, hello, wild ones, when she starts her videos. And she tries to present herself as like a forest nymph or an elf or some fantasy woodland creature that has sort of come to life with her more realistic camping side. She mixes those two, and she gets very, again, she's reacting, so she's getting very emphatic and reactive visually with her expressions to things she sees. And the responses, again, with her and Biscuit as well, do seem very genuine. I know I'm saying, hey, she's a part of her personality is she's acting up on camera to accentuate her talents of expressionality, but also I think she's got a part of herself that's very genuine in the way she reacts to things. Like, she's seen an animal and she thinks that's really cute, and she's like responding to it in such a way, very bright and very charming, and it's very positive and happy sounding, so it's immediately attractive because like she's smiling all the time, she's interested in new things, very enthusiastic sounding, very surprised sounding whenever she sees something. Yeah, I like that expressional or reactive quality that some girls have. I think is very attractive. There's another type of girl that I could tell you about, which is a whole different personality that's interesting to me, which would be the streetwise girl, but that's a whole other archetype, and I'll save that for another time, I think. So yeah, maybe it's something we could all get better at as humans if we model ourselves on that sort of thing, where we're more, I don't know, bright with our expressions and more reactive to things we see. I mean, you could still keep that apathy in a way. I don't know if you could you cross it with that vlog I was talking about the other day where apathy could be useful. Could you cross this with the apathy? I guess if it's performative, then you could keep the apathy because you keep your emotions in check and in control, and you know you're not emotionally responding to things. You're more choosing to expressionally respond to something that you find cute or beautiful or cool or attractive or interesting for the purpose of communicating to someone else, and trying to share that and trying to find like-minded people, I guess. I think it comes down to being able to think more clearly about what you're doing. I really hate most people in life who do things just so unthinkingly, like they're not in control of themselves. They don't even believe in self-control. They believe that they should have daddy government control them or someone else control their lives for them, so they can just, I don't know, drone away and be lazy and be convenient, do things conveniently to them, you know, rather than go deeper and think and slow down and really figure out what's going on in the moment. And the more you slow down, the more you can consider things and you can do them better, I think, because you can actually assess yourself and what you're doing and assess what's going on around you and what's the best way to respond to how a person's talking to you. And I think most of that comes with not being fast, not trying to respond to things fast, not trying to be convenient, make your life easier so you can go faster and do things. I wouldn't say that's more efficient. I'd say that's more brevity, more rashness, more rushedness as well. People are trying to just zoom through life without having to deal with anything. And when you get too much like that, then you're not focusing on what you're doing, what people are saying to you, and you just slow down. You could be like, what's a better way I could respond to this? If I just wait a few seconds before answering, and this is actually part of my acoustic blackout storyline, actually, the sentries, particularly Cronal and his superiors, have this thing where they allow each other more time, like more gaps between dialogue to respond to each other, because they have to think of the best way to respond, and they don't have that pressure on them to respond to each other instantaneously, so they can really think through what they're going to say to each other before they say it. That's actually something I worked into that novel right at the start. It's like some enlightenment value that these aliens have that humans don't really have, is that they can slow down and fucking think, whereas humans would just go, okay, whatever, I don't want to think about it, just get on with it, let's just do it now, let's finish like right now, let's just do the thing I told you to, let's go. I hate that kind of mindset of, we gotta rush to finish, we can't think about what we're doing in the moment, in the present. So yeah, I think when people actually are given that patience to think about what they're doing and choose the result of the words they're gonna have to answer someone, you get more things like the expressional girls, you know, the people, I should say, because I'm sure there are guys who are like this as well. The people who can respond in a very clear and positive and interesting and more excited manner, but also maintain the apathy in one corner while they're maintaining expressionality on the other side, instead of emotional reaction, which is like what the SJWs do. They just get really rushed and get really angry and get very like they get scared and angry and sad at anything that comes their way, and they're like also pre-scared and pre-angry and pre-sad before anyone talks to them. So for instance, with a feminist, you can't really give them compliments, you can't greet them, you can't flirt with a feminist, you can't get a feminist into a rational conversation, because they'll just shut down and they'll be like, oh my god, you racist, you Nazi, you misogynist. They're like, they won't be open to slowing down and thinking about the conversation they're having in the present moment. And if they did, I think they wouldn't respond in that way. Anyway, that's the vlog for today, folks. Catch you all later.